What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Allen, and this is the Movie Minute. This week, we're talking about Jon Gunn's new film, not James Gunn, Jon Gunn's new film, Ordinary Angels. And this one was a surprise. So let's jump on in. All right, so let's talk about Ordinary Angels. This is a faith-based film. Jon Gunn is very much in the faith-based film sphere. He wrote Jesus Revolution. He wrote American Underdog, which, I've been a fairly big critic of Christian film in the past because they're just not well done. There might be elements that are okay, but just from a writing standpoint, they're not well done. And I will say Jesus Revolution changed that. I watched Jesus Revolution and was legitimately surprised. It was a good movie. A lot of good elements in that, and a good story and a good script. Jon Gunn wrote that script. So Ordinary Angels, surprisingly, was really good. So maybe I shouldn't be surprised. But so Ordinary Angels is essentially about a woman, Sharon Stevens, who is really kind of down on her luck. Her life is a bit of a mess. She's a hairdresser in a small town, and she sees a story about Ed Schmidt, played by Alan Ritchson, who's famously from, right now, Reacher. Incredible actor, by the way. She sees the story about this guy who's really struggling, and she just gets this kind of like obsession with helping this family. And the film is about this woman who sacrifices a lot to help this family. I cried a lot in this movie. I'm going to be honest. I cried a lot. It is emotional. It's intense. And ultimately, what it does that a lot of faith-based movies have struggled with, I think, in the past, is it felt real. So many faith-based movies, they feel fake. They feel forced. And a lot of us, especially in this generation, authenticity is super important. And we can sense when something isn't authentic. This movie feels very, very real, very authentic. So let's talk about what I liked. First and foremost, like I'm saying, the story is incredible. It's based on a true story, and like any movie, they made some changes, obviously, to the story to make it a little bit more thematically exciting. They do that in these movies. All based on true story movies do that. But overall, the story is just so good. It's a story about people helping people, and we need more movies like that. This movie really touches you deep. And not only is this movie about helping people, which is amazing, the story's so strong, but another thing I loved about the story in this movie is it shows grief and anger and frustration with the world and God and all of these elements that is real. It's so real. And it was refreshing how real it was. Alan Ritchson is incredible. I don't know if you guys have watched Reacher, which is a brutal television show, but also really, really well done. Alan Ritchson is incredible in this movie. This guy, you are in it with him in this movie. He really brings it. He brings it so much. It's shocking that I'm about to say this, that I think it's an Oscar-worthy performance from him. It's that good. Will he get nominated? Probably not. Faith-based movies don't typically get nominated, but it is an Oscar-worthy performance. It's that good. And speaking of Oscar winners, Hilary Swank is amazing in this movie, which is not surprising. But like I said, in faith movies, it's hard because sometimes the scripts, they're a little bit cheesy or they just don't really land well. and so then it makes performances difficult. That is not the case for this film. Hilary Swank plays this just amazing kind of like Midwest hairdresser woman who is dealing with her own demons and her own grief and her own journey, and she delivers it impeccably. It's an amazing performance. Amazing. This movie is so satisfyingly heartwarming and emotional and real. It just hits you right there. And those movies are so good. So let's talk about a few things I didn't like. There's really only two little nitpicky things that I didn't like about this movie. The first one is that there are a few moments that felt a little church-y. It was a little bit too much, okay? And I felt that pretty deeply. The second thing has almost nothing to do with the film, which is really interesting. And when I went to go see this movie, I was sitting in a theater with my friend, and we were ready to watch this movie. We're sitting in the theater. We got tickets to see the movie. We want to see the movie. And then this like preview comes up, like trying to sell Ordinary Angels to us when we already saw we're seeing the film. But they were trying to convince us of the morals and the themes. And it's like they went on this deep 10-minute plus intro walking through the story before we even saw the movie. It was weird. And then not only that, but then they jumped into marketing their next movie. It was bad. That's a bad play. And it's a producer's bad play. They should not have done that. If anything, they should have moved that to the end of the film. So word to the wise, if you're going to see this movie, go in late. This movie had trailers and these featurettes before the movie, and it was a solid 35 minutes before the movie started. The movie said it was going to start at 9:10. It didn't officially start till 9:45. It was crazy, and it put a bad taste in my mouth, honestly. Like, to start the movie, I was not excited about the film because of how long that featurette was. So, but it goes to show you how good the film was because I enjoyed it immensely. So let's jump in and talk about ratings. From an entertainment standpoint, this film is incredibly entertaining. It's the story alone is just so emotional and powerful. Easy 9 out of 10 from entertainment for me. And that is shocking for a faith-based film for me. From a critic standpoint, there's nothing shocking or crazy about this movie. It's not like the cinematography is amazing or like all of the technical elements, but it's just a well-written script and a well-executed story. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for critics. So from a badge standpoint, this is absolutely a popcorn bucket. This film deserves to be seen in the theaters. It is amazing. I was blown away. I was blown away at how good this movie was. So, at the end of the day, Ordinary Angels, incredible movie, deserves to be seen. Great job, Alan Ritchson. Great job, Hilary Swank. And kudos to the faith filmmaking community for making something that is actually worthy of praise. It totally is worthy of praise and must see this year. If you like this review, hit that like button. Please subscribe. Would love to have you on this journey with me. And until next time, everybody, peace out.